a tropical paradise full of people, culture, and stories. It is famously known for its pink sand beaches, very nice locals, and its tropical waters. Located in the North Atlantic Ocean, it is far away from any major landforms. Bermuda is very small, but for such a small island, it is full of culture. It has a population of about 66,086 people. That is a lot for a small island like Bermuda. It has a popular tide of British taste with many other cultures. Bermuda is full of British influence. This is because of the British settlers that settled in Bermuda. The real question is, why did they settle there? Later in the documentary, you will discover fascinating facts about its history, along with shocking surprises. Although the real history of Bermuda started around 1505, many proud Bermudans say that the actual history started in about the 1600s. Though Juan de Bermuda's birth is unknown, he was first born in Palos de la Frontera, Spain. He died in about 1570. In the 1500s is when Bermuda was first discovered by Juan de Bermudez. The island was named Bermuda after his name, Bermudez. Although Juan did not settle the island, he did, however, discover it. Juan was a Spaniard explorer, and after his discovery, it was later mentioned in about 1511 when Peter Martyr mentioned Juan's discovery in his book, Rogatio Babylonica. In about 1609, the ship, the Sea Venture, was on an expedition for Jamestown when a small group of ships were violently hit by a hurricane. The ships were all scattered and were left to fend for themselves. The leader of the Sea Venture, Admiral Sir George Somers, and the other 150 people on that ship, saw the reefs of Bermuda and crashed into the reefs of Bermuda to save themselves. After the crash, Bermuda was nicknamed Somers Isles after Admiral Sir George Somers had crashed there. Out of the cedar wood that Bermuda's trees had to offer and some salvaged parts from the wreck, they built 2 boats over the months that they stayed at Bermuda, the Deliverance and the Patience. 2 volunteers chose to stay behind on the island to still have British claim over it. While they were stranded in Bermuda, they found an unusually large amount of hogs. These hogs were left there so other travelers who came to Bermuda would have some food to eat. They used the hogs for food in their journey to Jamestown. To this day, the Bermudans are known as the Bermuda Hogs. In addition, sadly, there is no native tribes in Bermuda, so there is no one to help the shipwrecked sailors out. When the ships finally reached Jamestown, they were greeted with another disaster. They found the town to be mysteriously deserted with about 60 sick or wounded townsfolk. The 2 ships got them and turned around and headed back for London. Until 1612, everything was quiet. The Virginia Company of England went back to Bermuda to officially settle the island. This is when official settlement began. It was around the 1620s when Bermuda became a self-governing country. Even though they were now an independent country, they are still an overseas territory of Britain. This means that they are under the authority of Britain, but still can make independent choices. Today, Bermuda is a continually growing empire. It is the 4th richest country in the world. Its GDP per capita is about 86,000. It has a fun mix of history and odd quirks with names like the Bermuda Hogs or Bermuda Onions. It is a fabulous place to travel if you like tropical places, exotic culture, and is the perfect place for relaxation. As you know, Bermuda has a long history. But what you probably didn't know is that along with its history, its geography also changed. And that is what is coming up next.
Ever heard of a country that has only 20.54 square miles as its area, that you can drive across in only 15 minutes, has underground caves made of limestone, and is located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? This minuscule little island is called Bermuda. It is situated about 1,100 miles northeast of Florida. It has wonderful weather, amazing beaches, and some very fishy food. Most people know Bermuda for its very vivid tourism, but it also has some amazing natural flora and fauna that doesn't deserve to go unnoticed. So keep watching and join me for an amazing journey to uncover Bermuda's natural secrets and wonder. First, we need to make sure that we know Bermuda fairly well, including some history, culture, and just basic facts of life. Bermuda is actually an overseas territory of Britain, so it is ruled by the Queen. and celebrates a lot of the same holidays as Britain does. It has, more specifically, a parliamentary representative democratic dependency kind of government, which is both a democracy and a monarchy, because it is self-governed but yet still ruled by the Queen. Technically, it was first cited in 1505 by Juan de Bermudez, but not settled at that time because it was too small. It was officially settled in 1609 by English colonists and named after the original siter. Now for a little culture. The official name of the Bermuda culture is Bermudian because it is so unique and different from all other cultures. It reflects the heritage of its people, who are mainly of African and European descent, although a small percentage of Asians also live on the island. The people's religious beliefs are 39% non-Anglican Protestant, 27% Anglican, 15% Roman Catholic, and 19% of the people practice other religions. Next, let me tell you a little more about life on Bermuda, such as holidays, food, and tourism. Like I said before, Bermuda shares a lot in common with Britain. One main aspect of that, other than culture and religion, is, of course, holidays and celebrations. These can include Bonfire Night, Boxing Day, and Remembrance Day. On Bonfire Night, also known as Guy Fawkes Night, Bermuda lights huge bonfires, lets off magnificent fireworks, and celebrates the fact that Parliament and James I were not blown sky high by Guy Fawkes. This was actually Britain. Boxing Day is meant for being generous to those who are less fortunate. Many give away food and drinks to the poor, particularly the leftover cassava pie from their Christmas dinner. As a tradition, the Gombi dancers make their rounds and perform at various places in the island. Remembrance Day is a public holiday in Bermuda and is always held on the 11th of November. This is the day when all the war veterans, dead or alive, who volunteered and fought the 2 world wars as allies of the Royal British Army and Air Force, are remembered and honored. Next is food. There isn't much to say here because as Bermuda is an island, they catch and eat a lot of the island's surrounding fish. 80% of the other food is imported from other countries. As for tourism, the island is very famous for its world-class golf courses, marvelous weather, and oceanside beaches. This is where most of the island's $86,000 GDP per capita income comes from, with all of the relaxing on the 30 beaches, sightseeing one of the many attractions, and many variations of water activities. Speaking of weather, Bermuda has some unique weather patterns for an island. The average temperature is 68 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit, but almost never exceeds 90 degrees or drops below 55 degrees. The humidity levels rise in July and August, while they skyrocket and become unpleasant in the months of late June, July, August, and early September. Also, even though Bermuda has lush green foliage, they rarely get rain, but when they do, it is usually in a short but heavy rain shower with an average of about 50 inches per year. There really isn't too many hurricanes because of their northern location. In fact, it is the northernmost archipelago in the whole world, and the hurricanes only occur about once every 7 years, with the last one happening in 2014. Even though Bermuda is so far north, they don't get snow, ice, or frost. Why? Because they are located right near the warm waters of the Gulf Stream. This is why the island is warm and humid year-round. One of the best things of all of their warm weather and temperatures is the flora that now flourishes on the island. These are bright, vivid, surprisingly majestic flowers, trees, bushes, grasses, and other plants that you can find elsewhere, but with a Bermudian twist to them on Bermuda. All of the plants grow there because of the warm climate, weather, and just the right amount of moisture. Not too much, not too little, just perfect. Plus, the humidity keeps moisture in the air, so the plants actually have fantastic growing conditions. The vegetables are more expensive in Bermuda than anywhere else in the world. Bermuda imports 99% of everything, including the seeds used to plant the vegetables. However, fresh carrots are an exception to the imports, as they must be locally grown. As for plants to keep away from, Bermuda has numerous areas on trails, woodlands, and even private roads with plants including poison ivy and stinging nettles, very similar in size and shape to those in North America. You might want to keep clear of them. Speaking of plants, we all know that the only thing better is animals, so this section of my documentary will be all about the fauna. Not many of the island's animals are actually native to the island. In fact, only 27% actually is. While Bermuda isn't known for its wildlife, there are some interesting animals that you can see here. and some are endemic, which means that Bermuda is the only place in the world where they can be found. For example, the first animals that were noticed in the island were the pigs, also known as hogs. In the 1500s, the Spanish mariners left them to breed in the island so that they could serve as food for the passing ships. These hogs turned out to be of national importance by the early 1600s when coins were made with impressions of hogs. They were cleverly called a hog penny. However, today, there is no trace of the original hogs or pigs. The ones that can be seen in Bermuda were later imported or have been born out of the imported pigs. Another one is the Portuguese man-of-war. It is a jellyfish-like marine creature that has a blue or purple colored bladder and floats above the water surface. From a distance, it looks colorful and quite attractive. However, be careful. They have long tentacles that hang below the water surface. These tentacles have poisonous venom, and a sting can be extremely painful and even sometimes deadly. Finally, there is the whistling tree frog. They are one of the most characteristic night sounds of Bermuda between April and November because of their loud singing at night. They are introduced accidentally and can be found elsewhere in temperature and subtropical regions. Well, that's it for now. I hope that you have enjoyed learning about the culture, history, food, tourism, flora, fauna, and more of this magnificent tropical island paradise. If you wish to learn more or are curious about one of my topics, then maybe you could even research it yourself, and you might learn more than you already know or want to learn. So thanks again for tuning in, and always remember, you can go to heaven if you want, but I'd rather stay in Bermuda. Quote from Mark Twain, author.
The lone island of Bermuda, in all its majestic glory, sitting alone on the open waters of the great Atlantic. When you arrive, you are instantly entranced by all its beauty, mystery, and wonder, with elegant white beaches hosting royalty from all around the world. Being the fourth richest country in the world is easy for hosting a large population and a long history of tales and secrets. But the question that's been burning at the back of every human being's mind for centuries is, what are the legends? Are they myth or fact? Will we ever learn the truth, or will they remain a secret forever? Now it is time to find the truth and how these legends have affected the people. Fact or fiction, true or false. Now it is time. The legends of Bermuda are vast and mysterious. They consist of the big three: the Bermuda Triangle, Atlantis, and the monsters of the deep ocean. For years, they've enhanced the beliefs and childhoods of Bermudans, scaring them and giving them inspiration to try and find the truth themselves. They've affected the way people do things, the way people think, the way people live. People near Bermuda Triangle go out of their way to sail somewhere far away from what legend calls it, the portal to the underworld. Some go out of their way to scuba dive in the Bermuda Triangle, convinced that they're the one that can find Atlantis. And some take boats and helicopters through the triangle, trying to find what they call the monster of the deep. These legends have scared, interested, intrigued, and helped build the imagination for many centuries. Legends keep us wondering, hoping, guessing, but now it's time for the truth. What really happened? What has really sparked our imagination, and what keeps us going?